It must be fixing to rain. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. Today, I've got a special treat for you guys. I've got the beautiful, the wonderful Laura Jane Loves Beauty. She has her own YouTube channel, you guys. She's super dope, no pun intended. And she's going to share her experience and hope with us today. So, for those of you guys that are new, just come on in, have a seat, greet your neighbor. Why don't you guys drop your sobriety section so that way we can give hope to the still sick and suffering addicts out there. And I'm going to let Laura take over. So, Laura, tell us where you're from, what your name is, I already know, and a little bit about your YouTube channel.
Okay, so my name is Laura Jane, and I'm actually from Clemson, South Carolina, but I live in New Jersey right now. And I generally have like a beauty YouTube channel, but I do also talk about sobriety and things that have happened to me and kind of my life as well. So it's a little bit of I'm all over the place, but that's how I am as a person. So yeah, your girl's been
Me
through a lot.
too. I can relate. That's awesome. Okay, girl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my head moderator, Merk. He's going to link your channel in the comment section. And of course, we'll link it after you get done telling your story and everything. And I'll share this on all my social medias. But if you could just kind of share with us what it was like when you were growing up and how you got led into your addiction.
Okay, so I had a pretty normal childhood. I came from like a normal, regular, middle class family, very well educated. I did well in school, blah, blah, blah. And then in about like 10th grade, we all started like drinking a little bit, stuff like that. And I ended up getting pregnant my junior year of high school. So
Yeah.
mind you, at this time, I've never touched a like hard drug in my life ever. Okay. So I had my baby at 17. She got stuck in my birth canal for 4 hours. Like the poor I should have had an emergency C-section, but I did not. So 7 weeks later, my episiotomy is not healing right. For anybody that's ever had a baby, y'all know what that is. I'm not going to go into explanation because But so I'm running out, getting ready to go, packing up the diaper bag. Baby daddy's feeding the baby. I come back in the room and she's got a little bump on her head. And I'm like, well, where did that come from? And he's like, oh. So me being like a freaked out first time mom, I'm like, well, she's being seen too. But since she was stuck in my birth canal for 4 hours, she came out cone headed, like a little bruised up, bloodshot eyes. And the bloodshot eyes did not start to go away until, right about this time, but there was still some bloodshot to them. I went to the same hospital that I had her at, and the week before, apparently they let a couple go home who was abusing their child, and it died. Baby died. So they immediately tell me that my daughter has shaken baby syndrome and she has a bilateral subdural hematoma and that she's going to die. So they tricked me at 17 years old, a minor, into signing papers that gives them 72 hours instead of 24 to do an investigation, even though they usually only have 24 hours and I had no legal representation at the time. But I thought she was going to die. So they take us to Greenville Memorial Hospital by ambulance. And, the nurse took pity on me, right? And he knew, because he saw me with my daughter. He knew. And he came back. We were waiting for the result of the MRI. And he's like, her MRI is clear. This child is fine. You're going home. And then I'm packing up. Not 30 minutes later, this woman from DSS comes in. And gets in my face and says that my daughter has 2 healed rib fractures, and tells me somebody hurt that baby and she took her away. I had 4 or 5 doctors that were like, oh yeah, that probably happened at childbirth, but would not testify on my behalf because DSS was involved. So I'm like, drug test me. You know, I have never done anything in my life, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I had to give my baby away. She went into foster care. I could only see her for 2 days at a time. I had to take parenting classes. I went to women's empowerment classes where they told you you're not worth a shit for nothing and you're never going to be anything, and basically just break you down, break you down, break you down. When a child is taken, they're supposed to have a lawyer appointed to them called a guardian ad litem immediately.
Mm-hmm.
This did not happen for me until 12 months into the case. I'm at work. He goes for a home visit and he asks my mother, "Can I see the scars on this child's back?" And my mom's like, "What are you talking about? What?" Lifts up her shirt, no marks on the baby. And he freaks out, gets all mad. I had to go through like psychological evaluations, all this stuff. And this whole time, you know, I had never done anything. And then
And you were
14
only
months later, they're like,
17. You were only 17, right?
yeah, only 17. Yeah. 14 months later, they're like, oh, yeah, the case is unfounded here. So I had no closure. I mean, it was so bad that my case worker from DSS actually retired after it. Like, it was so traumatizing. Um, and then because of all of the stress, I was going through a lot. I had just gone through another breakup right after this. So I was really depressed. I was going through a lot. I was going through a lot of stress. I had undiagnosed PTSD, panic disorder, all kinds of stuff, you know. And then at like 20, I broke out with shingles. Who gets shingles at 20 years old?
Oh, I don't know. My sister got them, but she wasn't 20. It was like after I don't know why she got them. I think it was because her immune system was compromised.
Well,
Usually, I've heard
cortisol does
that.
that to you
Okay.
from stress. So, and then they're like, oh, here is 75 Lortab 10. So I, you know, took them and, you know, I felt great. I wasn't sad. I was numb, basically, you
Right.
know, had energy. I was super mom. I was super waitress. I was working all the time, blah, 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 you know, best feeling ever. Mind you, I was in active addiction for like 10 years. Nobody
And
knew.
you were 18 when you first got that prescription, right?
I was around 20.
Okay.
But I had like a tooth pulled before that, and like I had some, but I mean, like, you know, like back then it wasn't that so bad. This was when I was really bad. And then after that, I started taking them like recreationally. Like at
Mhm.
work, we share them with each other, you know, get through the shift, blah, blah, blah. And I did not know that those were the same things as heroin. Like, I did not, nobody warned you how addicted they were, right?
Right.
So I kept taking them, and then I meet this guy because I'm a musician. I play the guitar. I meet this guy. He's like really cool. He's a little younger than me, like awesome guitar player. Him and all his friends do like, you know, ecstasy, and they were getting the ABG 100 morphine pills and like taking the coating off and snorting them. And he
Yeah.
told me that it was like better than, you know, Lortab, so I started doing it that way. And, you know, it just spiraled and spiraled and spiraled. And then I think the first time I got sick, when I didn't have any, I didn't know like it was from withdrawals. So I went to the
Right.
hospital and they diagnosed me with like gallstones, gastritis, and they're giving me like Dilaudid and more prescriptions for painkillers and more prescriptions. And then I got married. My husband was a sack of shit. Very abusive. He was a meth head, and I didn't know that. And you know, our relationship got really bad. One time, he sped his tires in our yard and sprung mud and gravel and everything in my mouth, all over my clothes. Like, he abused me, and I really started taking painkillers hard then, just to like get through every day and not deal with that. And then,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I kept getting sick. I go to the doctor. They thought I had like all these problems. And then I think finally realized, oh shit, I'm addicted to painkillers. And then like that guy that taught me how to use them in the first place came over and gave me my first shot. And when I had that, I was like, oh God, yeah, this is awesome. Like, because I wasn't having to deal with the pain of emotional and physical abuse and just comfortably numb.
I
Uh,
don't think a lot of people understand that either. Like, I mean, when you're getting abused by your significant other, whether it be like emotional, physical, verbal, it's like so hard to go through that and be in the frame of mind where you can
when
deal
you're
with life.
married, and you take your vows seriously and you're trying to raise a child and raise, his child and it just got really bad. I mean, and then his sister's fiance was a convicted felon in and out of prison, and then he taught me how to do it myself.
Hmm.
I have no veins on my left arm. I'm right-handed, so I had to learn how to do it with my left hand. And
Hmm.
then, I hid it for a long time though.
Yeah.
I'm 5'8". I probably weighed about 95 pounds. I was so unhealthy. And then I found out he was cheating on me, and I left him, and I came home. And when I came home, I really couldn't hide it that well anymore because, like, I was around my parents. I was like, nodding out all the time, and my mom and dad were like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm sick and tired," you know. And then
Yeah.
I fell down the stairs at my house because I was constantly walking around, and um, but I just kept using. I kept using, and then finally, one of my friends told my mom. And they put me on Suboxone. I got clean. I started dating another guy, blah, blah, blah. I was doing outpatient. I was doing great.
Uh-huh.
I was doing so great. They rushed me off Suboxone in 8 months.
That
And
happens a lot
yeah,
because
yeah,
people get, go ahead. They get excited and or even the doctor,
the
some of the
doctor
doctors will
worked
pressure you to get
off
off.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like, oh, you have a job now, you're paying your bills, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I got off of it, I relapsed. Like
Yeah.
immediately. And then not only was I using, but the guy I was with started using. And he OD'd, but thankfully he lived, you know. And then my ex-husband came crawling back. And at this point in time, his meth habit had gotten really out of control. So
Hmm.
we move into an apartment in Greenville. I'm doing my drug of choice. He's doing his, blah, blah, blah. I end up not being able to work anymore because I'm just spiraling. Um, he's staying up for like 9 days at a time and then not paying bills. I didn't know about any of this. Not paying bills, doing nothing, just buying and stealing drugs. He actually got involved with um, a certain Southern motorcycle club. So yeah, they don't like it when you beat up your women, and they don't like it when you steal their products. So he ends up leaving me alone in this apartment, gets me evicted, And of course, I would do meth with him too sometimes because I didn't have withdrawals from heroin while I was on meth.
Right.
And then I get evicted. He just leaves me. So I'm homeless. So I'm staying with people that are my friends. They're all meth heads. I'm telling you, I've had stuff stolen off my body. I have woken up to people assaulting me. Um, yeah, it was pretty bad. It was really, really, really bad. And then the guy that I was dating, when we first broke up, we got back in touch. He's still using, so we started using together again, and like whatever. And I do my taxes because I have a kid. Da 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 da. I went
Hmm.
and got a very large large quantity of a certain substance that starts with an H. And we're arguing at this hotel room. Thank God somebody called the cops and I got arrested because I would have died.
Yeah.
I would have died. I had like, like 30 Xanax bars. I had over an ounce of that substance.
Heroin?
Yeah.
You can say it.
Okay, on my channel, yeah, I had over an ounce of heroin. I'm very lucky that they did not find it because I would be a convicted felon right now. All
Yeah.
I found was paraphernalia, and it wasn't even mine. It was his paraphernalia. I had a thing of makeup out, and he had a rig out, and it was sitting next to my makeup on the table. My shit was hidden. They came in, and I like took my purse. I had weed, thousands of dollars in there, my cell phone, everything. I took my purse, and I had all the heroin in there too. I took my purse and I shoved it in between the wall of the hotel bed and bed, and they never found it. But he knew where it was, and so they walk over to my makeup and go, "Is this yours?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then so they thought that was mine too. So I go to jail. He robs me of all my stuff, takes all my money, doesn't tell anybody where I am. So I'm just sitting up in county jail, like going through withdrawals. Not only that, I had the world's worst bladder infection. Like I was so sick, I could not get out of bed. I was in so much pain. Like I'm telling you, I couldn't even use the bathroom. If it wasn't for my bunkmates, like being like, yo, this girl needs to go to the infirmary. Like she's really sick. Like, I could have gotten a kidney infection. It could have gotten really bad. Finally, somebody tells my parents where I am, and they're like, they scream my last name, and I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, get your stuff, you're going. So, I was there for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, but I was so sick, like it was just awful, awful, awful. But honestly, like it's not as bad as you would think. Like that is a lot of time of self-reflection. So I'm sitting and talking to the nurse because I always wanted to work in the medical field, which by the way I do now. And she's like, okay, well, I'm not giving you Bactrim for this. And I was like, yeah, I know you can't do that anymore because Bactrim causes yeast infections. She was like, how do you know that? What the fuck are you doing here? And that was when I was like, I don't fucking like,
yeah.
have a kid. I'm way smarter than this. I'm way better than this. Like, so my parents come get me. I go home and I'm like, Mom, I'm addicted again. I can't do this anymore. I need to go back on Suboxone. She was like, okay, well, you can't, we tried to get an appointment, but it was over a month away. So I went cold turkey and I threw up for over 30 days straight. I had restless leg syndrome. I had, there would be periods where it wasn't so bad, but it would like come in waves, like like, I couldn't move. Or then I couldn't stop moving. I was sweating. I mean, my bones were breaking out of my body. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, it got to be so bad. The only time I was comfortable is when I was in the bathtub. That's the only time I would get like maybe like 30 minutes of sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was addicted to heroin and opiates. Hardcore. Like even my dealers would be like, yo, come on, test this out, blah, blah, blah. Like that's that, because I literally could do so much. And I probably OD'd several times.
I bet you did, girl. I know I have.
I know I have. It's like, you do it and then you're like out and then you wake up and you start throwing up and you're like, oh no. Like don't fall back to sleep. I've had to have people put me in the shower. But I mean, they never called the ambulance and it wasn't until, and then I got on Subutex again because like, my mom ended up during this over a month period finding me pain pills and giving me just like one here and there because I was so sick. Like I couldn't eat. And I was getting smaller and smaller. It got to the point to where if I lay down in the bathtub, I would have bruises all over me. I was so small. And so I got on Subutex first, but I still didn't change people, places, or things. I thought I could, like hang out, do a little of this, do a little of that. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. So I ended up lying to everybody. I blocked everybody's phone numbers. I told everybody I was going away to rehab. And I really didn't. I just locked myself in my parents' home and didn't talk to anybody or come out. I stayed off social media. I just stayed at home. And I was always thin. And this is when I started. I ate and I ate and I ate. And I gained a lot of weight. I mean, like, not a lot of weight. Like, I never got to like size 10 or
probably a good weight though, huh? Because you were so tiny.
Yeah, it was like a lot. And then as soon as I started gaining weight, I was like, oh, fuck this. So I started walking. And then, I got a job. And then I got in touch with my boyfriend that I had dated 8 years ago who lived in New Jersey. And this was right after I had gotten serious about being sober. And I was so worried about like talking to him. Because he had already broken my heart once, and you're not supposed to date like your first year of sobriety, whatever.
That's what they say, but
Yeah. So I started flying back and forth to New Jersey. Well, he came. All right, my first sober Thanksgiving, like right after that, we were talking in November of 2012. So even though I had actually started Subutex back in like August, July, my clean date is September 24th, 2012, because that's when I finally was like, nope, because my friends were dying, people were dying, I had to get away.
Yeah.
And then we started talking in November, but we kept talking, and we would FaceTime and we would talk, and we would FaceTime and we would talk. And like, he would show a lot of concern and a lot of support. And then it just so happened he came to visit me for Valentine's Day. Now, all of this was like he was going to say goodbye to me because he was in college. I'm from Clemson, a college town. And like, this is when I first started having all those PTSD and anxiety problems. And he was graduating. So it's like either break up with her or marry her. So, he broke up with me. Motherfucker changed his phone number, ghosted me, basically, like everything. So it really crushed me. So we were going to say goodbye. That didn't work out. We went out to dinner for Valentine's Day, and I ended up spending the night in his hotel room. And then after that, I was flying back and forth all the time. And then I had a scary thing happen with my ex-husband who had gotten out of prison. He actually showed up to my house with a gun and like coerced me to go and pawn a few things. And I was like, oh, I can't live here anymore. And then I moved up here June 4th of 2013. And I had what little Subutex I had with me. And I was calling doctors. Because in New Jersey, it's way more expensive than South Carolina. Calling doctors. And then, like, everyone would be like, you can't afford it. Like, you can't afford it. Like, nobody wanted to help me. And I found the best doctor on a whim. It was just random. His name is Dr. Peter K. Finelli. And his son, his name is Dr. Peter F. Finelli. So that I see his son now because I have PTSD and panic disorder. But I saw him for years. I switched from Subutex to Suboxone. Eventually, I was working. I was, doing support groups. I was talking to people on Facebook. And then I started working out. And once I started working out, I started setting goals and I started meeting goals and I started, building up my strength physically and mentally. And I started
Uh-huh.
confidence and I started working the steps even harder and making amends and contacting my old friends and, like, eh, I don't, yes, like, exercise makes your brain make all those feel good chemicals that opiates like fry your brain from. It forces
Uh-huh.
it forces you to do that. And I hated it for the first 3 months. But after that I was in love. And then okay, so I'm working out. I'm like, all right. I started on 16, I went down to 8. That's
Uh-huh.
fine. And then I was like, all right, I want to get off of this. So I went from 8, I would do 8 one day and 4 milligrams one day. And I did that for a couple months. And then then I went down to 4. And then I would do 4 and 2. So 4 one day, 2 the next day. And then, but I did that for a few months. This took a period of 2 years for me to wean off. And
That's good.
it got to where I was taking the 2 milligram strips and tearing them into pieces. And once I got to the point where I was skipping 3 days for like half or a quarter of a milligram or whatever teeny tiny little sliver I had left, I
Uh-huh.
knew that I could off. And I did. And I started CrossFit. I started working at the gym. I started training people. And then I broke my ankle.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You got bad luck, girl.
Yeah. I broke my ankle. So, with the advice of my psychiatrist, my addiction specialist, everybody, they were like, "We want to put you back on Suboxone while you're stuck at home recovering." Because I was out of work, I couldn't work out, I couldn't walk. Plus, like the pain, because I tore every ligament and tendon
Mhm.
and broke my ankle. Like I was in a cast all summer too. It was the worst because summer's like the best time to live up here. Uh,
Mhm.
so I am currently still on it, but I am going back down again and just now getting back into working out. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I
That's
mean,
okay. That's
yeah,
good. I mean, because you know what, Suboxone. You mean even if you have to stay on it for a long time or even forever,
I,
whatever you want to do,
I,
for your recovery.
there is no one path to recovery. I think that every human being is different. Just because you do it cold turkey, don't make you better than anybody else. Just because
That's right.
just because you are on methadone doesn't make you worse than anybody else, just because you need it for a little while, you need it forever, whatever. Some people don't realize that it changes your brain chemistry. It actually changes your brain chemistry. You do sometimes permanent brain damage,
That's right.
you know and
Yep.
some you're going to have post-acute withdrawal syndrome. Some people never feel better. Some people need to be
Yes.
on a dose for the rest of their life, and that is okay. I support
Exactly.
all paths to recovery. And if anybody thinks maintenance medication is a crutch or changing one addiction for another, they're absolutely ignorant on how addiction and brain chemistry work.
You're right, girl. I know that. I agree with you 100%. Can you tell me this? Why did you start a YouTube channel? What inspired you to do that?
I love to help people. I love to talk to people. I love makeup. There's so many different facets to me. I'm gonna start doing workout videos now that we're on self quarantine here.
Yeah,
Because
that
I'm
would be awesome.
going insane. I mean, I still have that shape. When I was at my fittest, I weighed 165 pounds, but I was
You're
solid.
5'8". You're tall. I'm
Yeah,
only five. I'm like 5'2" or 5'3". I'm real short. I'm a midget.
but you would actually have a bigger advantage over me weightlifting because to get something off the ground and over your head, you don't have as far to take it. Short people are
True.
strong, like, so Like,
You know what you could do? You could do live stream workout videos, and we could all come and do them together while you're live.
yeah, or I was gonna do like, well, I want to make sure like I start off simple because not everybody works out, not everybody's cool with it. Because a lot of my channel is beauty focused, but I believe from beauty from the inside out. It starts in here, you know. Do unto others you would have done unto yourself. I'm always giving shit away. Like I give back to my subscribers. You know, I actually engage with my subscribers. Some of them are very young, even though I say my stuff is made for adults. That's why I watch my language. I mean, but I do talk about this too. And sometimes they'll be like, you guys might not want to watch this video because I'm going to be talking about adult subjects.
Right.
Actually had started a Patreon and I wanted a place where I could speak about addiction freely, but so many people got upset. I took the video down. I haven't really done much with it. I did put my like mugshot up there before anywhere else, and I have a few posts, but a lot of my viewers are not into that. That's not why they watch my channel. But some people find out, like, because in my intro I say I also have 7 years clean and sober from heroin and opiates, and when they hear that, they'll go and look at some of my playlists and they'll be like, "Oh my god, this girl's been through hell," like and they're, thank you, Spotted Elephant.
Oh, you can read you see their comments?
Yes.
Good. Good. Well, you know what? I realize that everybody's going to have something to say about what they want you to do on your channel. So you just do whatever you want to do that makes you happy.
Yourself, and like the right people will come. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Potential spam. Going. Anyway, so like you have to be true to yourself. Like past couple days, like I just wanted to spend time with my family, gather as much information as possible because we are so close to New York. Like there's no way I could have just gone on my channel and just been like, oh hey, I'm gonna play with makeup. Like
Right.
at first YouTube was not letting anybody talk about anything. So now they seem to kind of relax about that a little bit. My boss is in that category, so we have been home. I have been home for a while. So like, it's just like, oh my gosh, I had to have my psychiatrist meeting over the phone, but at least I was still like to do that, like goodness, this is happening in this technology age. Also, I don't have any girlfriends. Like that's another reason why I started my YouTube channel. I don't have any friends. I need subscribers. And like, but my subscribers are my friends. Like like I love you too, Cindy. I actually keep in touch with my subscribers, like on Instagram. They'll message me. I'll talk to them. We video chat. Some of them call me because I have a dedicated Facebook page and it has a contact us on there. So some of them call me, and I do tell people like if you're in the New Jersey area and you need a good addiction specialist, I do happen to know one. Like, let me know.
Yeah, that's awesome, girl. Tell me this about would you say that
part-time?
Would you say that working out has helped you to stay sober? Would you say that it's like a big part of recovery?
Oh, absolutely. Setting goals, doing positive things for yourself, working on yourself, self-reflection, setting goals, work anything that you can do positive for yourself makes you feel that sense of accomplishment and you feel prouder of yourself. So then, or even more, that's not correct English, even more proud. Yes, I'm from the South. Even more proud of yourself, and it makes you want to work harder and not give into temptation and give up that time because you worked so damn hard for it, like
for sure.
Easy. Working out is not easy. Like in the beginning, it is so hard.
What's one thing that you struggle with that you've had kind of an issue with since getting sober? Like, would you say have you been triggered by anything? Have you had thoughts of using? And if you have, how do you deal with that?
In the beginning, I did have thoughts of using, and I would like try to keep busy. I picked up a lot of hobbies. I started making jewelry. Yeah, one of my eyelashes is falling off. I don't think are the
Okay.
plaything. I'm just gonna rip it off. Idle hands are the devil's playthings. So like, stay busy, keep your mind occupied. I had to cut off certain people, like that was the biggest temptation is being around certain people. I'm sure now if I wanted to go find something, I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I
Right.
know how bad it sucks to live like that. I was homeless by choice, you know, because
Mhm.
I was not ready to go home. Like, no, I can't go back to that place, you know? Um, I have a lot of anxiety, and that did not manifest itself. Well, it was manifesting itself before addiction, but I didn't know what it was. My mom
Oh.
has it, my sister has it. It runs in my family. So, and then as soon as I got clean, I was with somebody and I was watching somebody blow like glass, like not like a meth pipe, but like actual like talented person blowing glass. And I'm just sitting
Uh,
there watching, and I had my first panic attack. And I like when I have panic attacks, I turn white, gray, I faint, I come to, I throw up, I hyperventilate, my hands go like this because I'm not getting enough oxygen. Like I actually have really bad panic disorder. So,
mhm.
and I have PTSD. So like your brain does this lovely thing when you're going through trauma. It blocks stuff out. But then
Uh-huh.
when your life calms down, you have flashbacks. Things start coming back to you. Like nightmares are really bad. Um, and at first they would trigger me, to want to use. And like I would either talk about it or write about it or throw weights around. That was what I would do. And
Mhm.
I got to where I was repping out like 285-pound back squats. Like I would always take out my frustration at the gym. That's what I
Mhm.
did. And then, focusing on my daughter because she was getting older and, making sure that I was a positive role model for her. And then, trying to help other addicts. But you can only try to help other addicts if they want help. You can't get drawn back into their, you have to kind of arm's length away. You know what I'm saying?
You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yes, and I have a lot of friends up here that like from restaurant work and stuff that are alcoholics that will try to call me, and I'm like, call me when you're sober. Call me when you're sober. I'll help you find something when you're sober, but call me. You need to call me when you're sober. Like,
That's what you got to do, set those healthy boundaries, because
yeah,
it's easy to get sucked back into that life, especially, it's easy to get in there. You're trying to help somebody, and then, like I was saying earlier, they grab onto you and they pull you down.
yeah, you just get sucked right back into it. Um,
Hmm. Do
um,
you see, Jewel says, we need Nicole to do an interview with a guy with his shirt off with baby oil all over his body.
okay.
Joel, there was
I
somebody else. You're crazy, girl. And then Spotted
I
Elephant says, Laura, I'm in therapy, and she was helping. Oh, can you see it?
Wait, it disappeared. Spotted elephant. What?
She was
Yeah.
in therapy with her therapist, and her therapist was helping her. I don't know. I just missed the comment. Helping her with desensitizing bad memories.
Yes, yes, yes. I am working on that. I see my therapist, pretty often. But sometimes like new ones happen, it's scary. Like I could have died so many times, and like it's very irresponsible to put yourself in that situation, especially when you have somebody that needs you. Um, you know.
I know it's hard, but you know what? We're not like that anymore.
No,
We're both
it's not.
sober. We both got our kids, and that's really that. Well, that's what matters. Tell
Yeah.
me this: do you have a like specific schedule that you upload on, or when can we come to your channel and find you there next, so that way everybody will know?
I usually upload all the time, but like I said, since this has happened, like, I had to take a couple days off to stock up. Everybody's
I
checking
understand.
in, so, like but, I'm probably gonna do something tomorrow. I usually upload something every day. I always have some kinda thing to talk about. I send friend mail. I do lots of giveaways. I'm very foolish. I'm about to hit
No,
4
that's cool. It makes it fun,
I'm about to hit
you know?
400 subscribers, and when I do that, I have a really nice one, but I don't wanna announce it yet because it's a surprise. I do a lot of collaborations. It's just like, beauty stuff, but I also, you know, talk about other things, like, not all the time, but because not everybody on my channel wants to hear about it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Some people do. Some people do, and I'm like, come back for the next video, So I've shared a few different things, but I've wanted to share more about what it was like since I came to New Jersey because like best addiction specialist ever. I even worked there part-time and I still do sometimes when they need me. So, you
That's
know,
awesome. Well, here's what I'm going to do. Mark is linking your channel in the comments. I'm going to upload this video and link it in the description in the comment section. And what I do, and everybody's saying that they went over and subscribed. So
no.
after you get off, go check. What I usually do is like in 2 or 3 months, we'll have you back on for an update just to check on you and make sure that you're doing okay. For some reason, it's cutting out. But I just wanted to thank you and tell you I love you, girl. And this was amazing. And thank you for sharing your story with us.
Anytime, like, I can share stuff about jail, but that's like negative. I want to be positive. We're here to live above stigma. Recovery is possible.
That's right.
So
Well,
the best
go
way
listen.
to think.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sign off and upload this video, and I'll check back in with you. Like I said, you always come over and check back out with me, but I'll check back in with you in like a month or two to make sure you're doing okay. But everybody, please go over and subscribe to Laura's channel. She's dope as hell. She's doing so good. She's staying sober, and she does makeup, which I'm obsessed with. So go over there and show her some love. Okay.
Thank you guys so much. Bye, guys.
Bye, girl.
Love y'all.
Okay, you guys, that was Laura. Isn't she so pretty with her blonde hair? Gosh, I look so blonde and I'm so black. So, you guys, I'm going to end this video so that way Laura's video goes ahead and up. Please show her some support, you guys. And then I'm back on and we can do a meditation. Okay? Love y'all. Why is this doing this?